All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So we got a pocket change market report for April 27th, 2022. Got to thinking, no, this is not the last one for the month of April. We actually have one more pocket change market report that we're going to kind of shoehorn into this month, and that's going to be on Saturday. But it's been a week since I've done one of these, and we're going to go ahead and jump right in to some of the neatest errors and varieties that you will encounter in circulation, number one. Number two, you can also cherry pick these from local coin shops and shows. However you find these, guys and gals, it's all good because, you could resell them and you don't have to grade them. You know why? Because it's going to save you money at the end. What I like most about finding some of these errors and varieties is that they kind of sell themselves. If you're able to take pretty decent pictures, which a lot of the photos on this week's PCMR look pretty good, but there's going to be some pretty shady and dodgy looking photos. But still, if you're able to pick up the points of the coin that make it a variety, like a doubled die or a repunchment mark, or an error, kind of like what you see faded into the background here, you should be in pretty good shape. And oftentimes there are lots of people looking for these coins. If you've got it, then it should be a relatively easy sell if you know how to attribute them. So yeah, with no graded coins. These are all coins from the last, I would say, 24 to 48 hours of activity on eBay. A great mix of buy it now, add to cart listings, which is what I call fixed price listings. In addition to just organically bid up items, we have a really nice healthy mix. I would say it's probably more of a 60-40 ratio. But you're going to see exactly how the market's doing. I would say it's doing extremely well right now. And if you've got these coins to sell and you don't quite need them and they just don't fill any need in your collection, now might be a good time to sell them because you will realize the full potential of the market for those items. All right, let's go ahead and jump right in to the first listing here. So the first two coins are actually relatively newer Lincoln Shield cents. Okay, they're both 2021s. But these are kind of like common anomalies that you're going to come across on these coins. So they're always worth looking for. So there you go. This is exactly the coin in question. Either found in a roll or they can be found in pocket change. Now, at first glance, you're going to say, well, look at that. There's a few scratches right there, right under Lincoln's chin. And those are not scratches. Upon closer examination, these are little strike-throughs that are commonly referred to as field-restricted strike-throughs, and that's where the feeder finger actually pushes along grease right on the die. And I would say that in most cases, no two coins are going to be alike when it comes to these strike-throughs, but we've seen quite a few of them just in about the last 2 to 3 years of Lincoln cents and Washington quarters specifically. We're also seeing them in Jefferson nickels, and I think there's probably a few of them in Roosevelt dimes. Any coin that's produced today, there is a pretty big chance that there will be some sort of error or screw up. We've been living in the pandemic for, the last couple years. We're coming to a close here, I'm happy to say. But this is a real issue. Quality control just wasn't there, and it's not going to be there for a little while. This particular example here with a really nice pair of strike-throughs sold for $16.76 with 9 bids. And then we have another one here. As you can tell, this one is in a little bit different position. You still have two major strike-throughs, both the same type, that field-restricted kind of push through of the grease on the surface of the die will yield different results. This one right here, a little bit closer, you actually have a good, nice, sizable, long strike through, which is mostly grease and debris right over the date. And this one a little bit more attractive to the buyers out there. This one ended up selling for $27.25 with 9 bids. All right, so we're going to steer away from some of the newer stuff for a couple, and we have our first piece of currency. Now, this is a 1977 $20 bill. So, a few observations. It's a very well worn note. You'll notice it even has that red teller mark on there. Okay, that's not something that came from the BEP as an error, but you're going to see that the overprint, the first and third print on the note are all shifted to the left. Now, it might seem like this is a shoo-in for a miscut, but when you flip the note over, you're going to see that the reverse print is perfectly centered on the back of the note. So you have a pretty noticeable misalignment of the front print, and it doesn't matter how it's cut, will yield this kind of result. This one, surprisingly, kind of took me by surprise. It ended up selling for $285 with 8 bids, and that's with a note that is extremely circulated. It even has a little bit of a tear here on the, well, if you're looking at it from the front, it's on the right margin, but on the back of the note, it's actually on the left side. So there is a pretty sizable tear. I mean, it's no beauty queen for sure, but again, you know, if you find these in any age of note, it doesn't matter what denomination, you best believe that these have quite a bit of value. I mean, I am not going to turn down nearly $300. No way, no how. All right, so here's another new one here, or newer-ish. We have a 2020 Philadelphia Minted Shield Cent. This one is slightly off-center. I would say it's probably more broad-struck than it is off-center. It's so minor, it's probably maybe 5 to 7% off-center, but these are real coins that can be found in the wild. A lot of these were found in BU rolls, which are still out there in quantity. So if you're out there hunting down Lincoln Cent rolls, more than likely you'll come across these. This particular example here sold for $7.64. And the undisputed king, I would say, of one of the more findable double dies has to be this 1972 Lincoln Memorial Cent. I mean, just take a look at the Obverse. This is the DDO number 1, but it's also referred to as FS101 in the Cherry Picker's Guide. Keep in mind there are about 10 really nice, unique doubled dies for this date. It has been just a great search for these coins if you could still find them in any grade. This particular example, you can see has a lot of the strongest doubling in the motto on the word liberty and the date as well, but also do not discount the doubling on Abraham Lincoln's profile and his jacket. So you're going to see a lot of that as well. Kind of hard to say what the actual grade here is on this one. It looks to be really nice gem condition. However, there's too much, I guess, white imbalance on this one where you get a lot of kind of that glare. Maybe the light was pointed directly at it during the photography session for this coin. However, I mean, it's good enough to show a lot of the details. It looks to be, I'll just go out on a limb and say it's mint state. This one sold for $600. These things continue to go up and up and up, even in raw condition like this one. Now here's another one here. I'm not going to say it's a verifiable sleeper, but people just don't know this one as well as some of the newer varieties. This is the 1936 Lincoln Wheat Cent. This one exhibits the doubled die Obverse number 1, or the FS101 in the Cherry Picker's Guide. You can't really tell too much looking at these images, so if you guys have a nice loop of some sort that's for magnification, for verifying these varieties, that's going to be helpful. If you don't have one, I'm happy to say that they are inexpensive. I have them down below in my description box through Amazon links. I do get paid a small portion for every sale that goes through there, but if you don't have one of these important tools of the trade, I would highly encourage you to spend the $6, $8, $10 that it takes to at least have a good magnifier. So here, the seller did a really good job just kind of putting together all of these close-up images of the most relevant bits and pieces of this double die. You're going to see, and most importantly, we're going to start at the date. You can see the double tail of the 9, also the 6 as well. And then also the 1 and 3 has a lot of doubling on there. This one also has a lot of strong doubling in the motto "In God We Trust." While not quite 1972 DDO number 1, this one certainly holds its own. It's even listed in the Red Book, but it also has some doubling here in Liberty as well. What separates this one to the DDO number 2 or the FS 102 is going to be that doubling on Liberty. It's not as pronounced on the number 2. And furthermore, the motto is not nearly as strongly doubled as it is on the number 1. This coin right here, in this condition, which is not fantastic, I would say it's probably about a fine to maybe low-end VF, sold for $43.90. I've noticed that the price of these have gone up, while not like quickly. I remember selling these for around $20-25 back in 2015. So these have doubled up just in the last 7 years. And here's another good one right here too. I've actually found a few of these, and I was kind of taken aback at how nice they are. It's a 1941S Lincoln Wheat Cent with a notable cud die break on the reverse here. It's right here about K3 to about K4 area. You can see it overlaps even the wheat stalk. There are other examples where it just exhibits a pre-cud retained die break or pre-cud here, where it looks like just a die crack, but it goes rim to rim. This is a good one right here. Again, cuds are huge right now in the marketplace, and they have been for the better part of the last like 2 to 3 years. This particular example sold for $42 with 18 bids. There was a lot of activity and a lot of desirability to own this one. Now here's a much more modern 1999 Lincoln Memorial Cent. This one is a broad strike error. So the collar, which normally holds in the coin during the strike, was not engaged at all. So when that's the case, the metal flow during the striking process has to go outwards, all right? Kind of like pushing down on a ball of Play-Doh. You know, you push your finger right through it, and then the material goes outwards, making it stretch and look a lot bigger than what it, originally was. This one right here, really nice shape, but it is one of the more common dates to find these, as they were located in mint-sewn bags during its day. This one sold for $27.50. Which is actually a good amount of money for this, considering I've seen some sell for about half that. So, well done. And here's also a 1999 P Roosevelt Dime. This one's actually pretty cool, and this one I would imagine easy to miss. As you can tell, the condition of the coin is circulated. I would say it's probably a high-end AU, maybe like an AU 58, maybe a mid-state 61. Kind of hard to say. It's certainly kind of toeing that line. But this one right here looks to have a little bit fatter finned rim on the top there of the front of the coin. But on the edge, get a look at this. It's a partial tilted collar. So the collar was tilted a little bit during the strike, and you see kind of like that railroaded raised edge area there, which is, pretty neat. Very unmistakable. Once you've seen one, it's going to be easy for you to find more and know exactly what it is. This one sold for $21.43 with 8 bids, which is a really nice amount of money for a very subtle Roosevelt Dime error. All right, so we're going to do a little bit of a kind of update on the market for these. They used to be all the rage back about a month and a half, 2 months ago when they first came out. But we have a 2022 P Maya Angelou American Women Quarter. This one, as you know, has that pretty pronounced raised die event here, which is just a simple die scratch, which is perfectly placed right on the beak of that bird right there. Since then, this has been referred to as the, bird's nest variety. But in reality, it's actually a very, very minor error event on here. Boy, have these fallen from grace here just in the last few months. These used to sell for about $20. the first like week or two when they came out, but these have dribbled all the way down to $4. That's how much this particular example sold for. They are actually quite common and very plentiful. These were even found in those U.S. Mint P Mint rolls back when they were released. So that was kind of the hot button back then. Now here's a really nice circulated 1968 Lincoln Memorial cent. However, this one exhibits 3 rim clips. One a little bit more curved and pronounced than the other 2, but there are 3 on there. They do also exhibit some sort of Blakesley effect, especially from the larger curved clip. You can see a little bit of that smoothness on the opposite rim there. That's something you always want to look out for. This example sold for $11.51 with 10 bids. And here's another update on one of my favorites. This is a very well circulated 2021 P Tuskegee Airman ATB quarter. This one, as you guys know, was the topic of a lot of hunting desires, most specifically for that burning building strike through. This one has it on there, but take a look at the condition of the coin. This is pretty much a microcosm of what you would expect to find out there in circulation today. So few of them are coming out in mint state BU brilliant condition. This is kind of the norm right here. So you would expect these particular examples to falter in price, but not by too much. Here's a little bit of a great close-up. I actually like this close-up. The seller used some sort of microscope with a screen or a little tiny kind of like monitor on there, and this is actually a picture of that. You can see just all the date and data at the bottom left there. This one ended up selling for $105, which is a very respectable amount of money for a circulated example of this error coin here. Again, this is more along the lines of what a field restricted strike through is. Again, this is more of that grease being pushed around by the feeder finger, which has come up with some pretty crazy effects on these coins. Now, this is not a notable variety or error, but it is just a decent looking 1896 Indian head cent. This one was probably a cherry pick at like a coin show, because looking at the staining on the reverse, this coin might turn off a few dealers into wanting to sell it for a lot more money. However, this is just a really good looking kind of like type piece. If you're looking for something with a lot of detail in the devices, I mean, you have 4 diamonds on here, and that's what a lot of collectors of this series loves. This one ended up selling for $69.98. I would find it hard to believe that you could sell it for a lot less than this, because it is just a sharp coin. So make sure when you're cherry picking out there, look for little deals like this. This could have been a coin that was offered at like $30, $40 at a dealer's table. And you could pick it up, resell it, and then someone else will treasure it as it is. Now this one's neat, and I think it's been a number of years since I've seen one of these, but this particular seller has a number of these available in a simple fixed price listing. If you want one, go ahead and add it to your cart and check out. But this is actually a 2009 P Lincoln cent. This is the formative years type. This is the one where Lincoln is actually sitting on a log. However, this particular error is just some pretty amazing clash dies. Okay, you can see just the close-ups of these particular areas on the coin. Here's the eye and nose region. You can see that those clashing there. Lots of it here in the beard and neck area, and then right underneath the chin as well. Furthermore, here are more clashing on the same coin, just kind of blown out a little bit so you can see some of it in the fields. The seller had sold 6 of them to the tune of $33.90 a pop. This seller has 3 of them available. So if you're looking for like a really dramatic, seldom seen clash die error, this is a good one right here. I can't imagine there being too many more of these left out there at all, especially in this condition. I think these were all found in BU rolls. because they're being sold as mint state examples. So if you want them, they're there. If you got some to sell, good luck. Congratulations. They're worth about 30 to 35 bucks a piece. Now here's another Roosevelt Dime error, this time a 2006 P. This one is slightly off center, as you can see, probably by about 8 to 10%. Nothing really crazy, but the coin is pretty well circulated. This one, again, not a beautiful coin. It's got very little luster remaining. This one sold for $12, so that's not too bad. I would have taken that all day long. And here's also a 1919 Lincoln wheat cent. The likelihood that you'll be able to find one of these in circulation is incredibly low. Again, where you're going to want to kind of cherry pick one of these is at a coin shop or show. It's a right time, right place scenario. Maybe they're asking like maybe 50 bucks for the thing because they just don't know what they have, especially when they don't specialize in error coins. Oh man, I love those type of dealers, and I come across them all the time. This one right here, off center by about 15-20%, somewhere in that general area. Plus, it's a really early date. All right, this is one that a lot of collectors will want to add to their date set of off center struck coins. This one sold for $118. How sweet it is. And another one to look out for in just basic scrap silver. Now, this looks like a smudge of grease right there on Liberty's face, but in reality, this is what a lamination error looks like on these large silver coins. It looks like just a black smudge, when in reality, it's going to be just a little simple layer of the silver that had peeled off. It's either going to be retained on there or it's going to be completely missing. This one, the seller had mentioned it's like an AU condition coin. It might have been cleaned, kind of hard to tell from these images, but it's an 1878S. I would say the coin is probably like 30-35 bucks in this condition. But however, with the error, this one ended up selling for $69.50 with 20 bids. That's not too bad of a flip. Now here's another update on a recent modern error. This is the Crown die chip on the 2021 P Washington crossing the Delaware quarter. One of the big finds from last year. This one has a huge die chip right on top of Washington's head there on that beautiful reverse. This one sold for $70. So this one, albeit not the most advanced stage of this chip, I've seen them a lot bigger. I actually own a few of them myself. Those generally sell for over $100. They used to sell for right around 200 back when they were first discovered. But hey, these, $70, $50, $60, $70 for some of the earlier progressions, going all the way up to maybe $125 for a really nice specimen. Not too bad. There's still a lot of value to be found in these. Now, much like the 1896 Indian head, we also have a 1903, and I'm happy to say that this one's pretty gosh darn close to full red. However, the big turnoff to a lot of people with this coin is its date. It's not like, say, a date that you just want to, just push your way through a crowd just to own. 1903 is a very plentiful date. There are a lot of, I would say, mid-state coins of this date, albeit full red examples are a little bit scarce. If you're looking for a good one here to fill up a set, or maybe if you find something like this that you've cherry-picked for a low amount of money, these have enough value that you could certainly flip it and do very well. This one sold for $99.98. Now, I forgot these existed. I've even found a few of these myself, but this is a 1965 Washington quarter. Now, the question is this a business strike coin, or is it a special mint set coin? I'm thinking it's more of a special mint set because I've seen them in SMS sets. The seller did not specify the type of strike it was, but if you're eagle-eyed as I am, there are examples with a pretty nice sized die crack that goes from the rim and then cuts all the way across the United States of America to the rim. I had no idea that these had the kind of value that this did. This one ended up selling for $38.28 with 16 bids. A lot of people were very interested in this, and I'd be interested again to know if this was an SMS coin or a business strike. So Coins and Cards had a couple very nice coins. Now, he had sold one of these before about a week or two ago. 1857 Flying Eagle cent. Is beautiful. I mean, this thing is probably like an AU condition coin. However, this one does have that nice sized cud in the wing, or die break, however you want to classify it as. This one is actually Snow 16 variety, which is quite nice. Again, these are very desirable in this condition. This one sold for $411 with 18 bids. Also from Coins and Cards, we also have this other 1857, not quite as nice as the previous example, but still a decent, I would say, type candidate for a set. This one right here is Snow number 3, and it's a doubled Die Obverse. Just go ahead and check out the doubling on the on US of A right there. It's one of the strongest that you'll ever find on an earlier 1 cent, small cent coin. This one ended up selling for $280 with 19 bids. So a pair of really nice sales from this seller. Now here's a couple more coins that you can easily cherry pick. These again are going to blow you away on the merit of their condition. However, that really doesn't matter because when you flip them over, yeah, we have a couple of really nice strike-through errors here. It's anybody's guess what these strike-throughs are. Maybe a struck-through detached lamination, or a piece of wood or something. However, pretty nice. And these do pop up quite often. With a little bit of searching, you can find these on V-Nickels quite a lot. This one right here is sold for $24.99. The buyer probably picked these up for between $1 and $2 a piece. So I would say that was a pretty good flip there. Now here's another 2022 P Maya Angelou. This time we're going to showcase the coin with the largest, more advanced stage of drilling die chip, or herpes die chip, or something. It's just the biggest die chip that you could find on these. These at one point sold for between $30 and $40. Okay, very recently, about a few weeks ago, they were still achieving that. These have slipped a little bit. This particular example sold for $23.50 with 18 bids. There was also another example that sold within the last day for about $26 as well. All right, so we have a few more currency items. We have this $1985 bill with a gutter fold. You can see that there on the left side. There was a wrinkle in the sheet during the printing process, so the wrinkle wasn't ironed out or stretched out before the print, so you will see a gutter of unprinted area on the note, plus the note will be a little bit larger as well. This one also has it on the reverse there. Just a really good looking error on a very well circulated note. Can't even believe this thing circulated as much as it did before it was found. This one sold for $54.99. Now, I forgot this one existed. It's been quite some time since I've seen one of these in person, but it's a 2001P Candy half dollar, and this one simply just has some concentric lathe lines. So you can see the curved circular lines that go all the way around the coin as part of a process of making the working dies for these. They did have the original lathe lines when they were ground down before they were worked on, and before the Master Hub pushed its design in there. Yeah, pretty neat. It's more of an anomaly than it is an error or anything like that. But these have always had a pretty good secondary market. There is a Lincoln cent as well that has a really nice, strong example of the concentric lathe lines. I believe it's 92D, if I'm not mistaken. A Denver coin, believe it or not. This one right here sold for $21.50 with 3 bids. So there is some value here with this kind of neat oddity. All right, so this seller simply had 60 of these duplicate 2013 B star notes. Here's a small sample size of what he had in his lot. I didn't get pictures of all the notes. This is probably about maybe half or 2/3 worth of these B star duplicates. So these were all the rage right now. They're selling, and people are looking to pair them up with their Washington, D.C. counterparts. These were the same serial numbers were printed twice by both the Washington, D.C. facility and Fort Worth. So, yeah, pretty nice here. All 60 notes sold for $877.70 with 63 bids. Lots and lots of potential here. Now, here's just a really nice, pleasing 1989 P Washington quarter. It's off-center by about 30%. I wanted to throw this one in there, even though it's not really cherry-pickable in change. Yeah, this one's a tough date. This one sold for $79.95. And I believe this is our last paper money item on the list. We have a 1957, very common dated $1 silver certificate. But take a look at the serial numbers. Yeah, we got a mismatch here. The second number and both serial numbers are completely different. And just a really cool error to look for. Silver certificates at coin shops are generally unlooked and unloved. The coin dealers will come across them. They'll throw them aside into a pile of other unloved silver certificates, and they won't check for things like this. And it's an era in which a lot of these mismatched serials were quite common. All right, so if you come across these lots of SCs, go ahead and check through them. You won't regret it. This note here sold for $265.30 with 6 bids. So these are quite valuable. There's a little bit of the back. You can see some folds on there. Not the perfect note, but at the same time, it's not trashed either. Whoa, what happened here? This is a 1968 D, 40% silver clad candy half dollar. So this must have been either a lamination or some sort of planchet flaw, where some of the silver top layer had peeled away. All right, and probably a lamination that started from the edge, which is what you would call a clamshell. I've seen a few of these, and they're quite amazing, And sometimes you just don't know you have one of these until you actually look at the edge. So please do so. Again, this is a 40% silver. This one sold for $65.75 with 15 bids. We have a few more to round out today's PCMR. How about a 1959 Lincoln Memorial? This is the first year of this new design. And this is a coin I'm willing to bet a lot of you don't know exists. All right, this is a good one. This is a doubled die obverse. You're probably thinking to yourself, what? There's no way there's a double die on there, but there is, trust me. Take a look at the date. This is where you're going to find a lot of the pickup points of this double die. You're going to have the doubled tail of the 9 here and here as well, and a little bit of the 5. But also look at this one. It's a little bit fatter. It's got this kind of like beveled edge here with a little bit of a notch. Yeah, you're going to need a really good magnifier to see this one. And coins that are in much lower condition, this is a tough one to look out for. But when you do spot one and you can confirm what it is, boy, this is a good one. This example sold for $30.31. So definitely do not ignore the state of Lincoln. Okay, so I lied. We did have one more currency piece, and this is a good one. This is a 1996 later, what I call big head note design. This is before they colorized them. But what do you guys see there on front? We have a true back to front wet ink transfer. And yeah, this is a partial. It's not a full, but you could see some of that right there. And, there was a little bit of ink on the impression cylinder. During the printing process. It's kind of like the paper equivalent to a clash die. So yeah, this is kind of like your byproduct of some of that leftover kind of ink sitting on that impression cylinder. And there's a back, nothing really notable here. This note sold for $98.79. Just a really, really good looking $20 bill. And we're going to end it off on this beast of a coin. I mean, geez, if you didn't see the front and you were looking at the back of the coin and you noticed that there was a good swath of devices weak or completely missing, whoa, I think you hit pay dirt with this one. But when you flip it over and you see just a really large, incredible Cud die break of this size. I mean, this one really, really is going to be a true gem in a collection. Now, this is a Cud that I've seen on the 69S Lincoln Memorial before, all right? So it's nothing new, but every time I see one, they are impressive and spectacular, and the market is still really, really huge on these Cud die breaks. For instance, this one coin here is sold for $184.79. Not the perfect example. It's got carbon spotting on the reverse. The front of the coin isn't really that lustrous. I might even believe that, it might have been cleaned. I don't know. I call me crazy. I always think something's clean, than it actually is. However, this is impressive. Okay, is it worth this kind of money? Yeah, these things have been selling for a king's ransom. And if you do come across it, that's like an instant win lottery ticket in real life happening in front of you. So definitely look out for these Cud die breaks. They come in small, medium, and large sizes, and they are all very valuable. But all good things must come to an end. Unfortunately, that was a really nice, strong list of coins for today. We will be back again on the last day of the month to share in of more notable errors and varieties that you can find in circulation, or cherry picking your local coin shop or show. So it was truly a pleasure talking about these with you. Let me know what your favorite coin is, or a piece of paper money, because we did have quite a few of those. But that's going to go ahead and do it, my friends. As always, Coinaholics, we are discovering together. Do all those 3 great things on screen, and I will be your friend for life. But that's going to go ahead and do it. You guys take care. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you on the next coin video. So long.